Hi students, welcome to IGC. This is the second tutorial in the series of tutorials that we have started for sensors and industrial instrumentation. This is the second tutorial of flow sensors. In the first tutorial, we have studied the we have seen the basic introduction and the syllabus and the type of questions that are being asked, and we have seen the classifications of sensor. So this is one slide from the first lecture. So let us recall whatever we have studied. So in the flow sensors, basically we have categorized all the flow sensors in three categories: obstruction type flow meters. And when it is in difficult situation, we are using two sort of flow sensors: electromagnetic and the ultrasonic. These are two non-invasive mechanism where there is no contact between the fluid and sensor. The third category is hot wire anemometer. Here we used to place one wire, and we used to heat with some constant, either constant voltage or constant current, and we used to and that change in the temperature is calibrated in terms of your fluid velocity, right? So moving forward, let us move, and we'll see some basics of the first. We'll start with the basics of flow sensors, and then we will go and we'll take one sensor. Let's say we'll take any sensor, let's say rotameter. First we'll see the concept, then we'll see the previous year questions that we have already seen in the first lecture. So we will be taking the same numericals and we will be solving it. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so in the flow measurement system, what is this basically? Flow is what we are measuring here. So in the flow measurement, basically we are measuring the rate of flow. As I already told, the basics of the measurement systems, where in any fluid, in any measurement systems, let's say when we are going for thermal power, or when we are going for in any pipe is there where some fluid is flowing, and when we are measuring the flow, let's say orifice plate is there. So in anyway, so let's say this pipe is there, here the fluid is flowing, and when we are measuring the flow velocity q, either v or q, okay, flow rate or flow velocity, then what we are basically measuring here, we are measuring the rate of flow per unit time. Means in 1 unit of time, what is the amount of fluid that is flowing through one particular area. So we used to take one small area, and then we used to calculate the from this small area how much fluid is flowing in per unit time, and then we used to integrate this over the complete radius, and we used to get the complete flow rate. This is what we have to do in the flow rate measurement of flow rate. The basic concept is this only. So as you know, there are wide range of industry where this flow measurement system is being used. Let's say chemical, oil industry, like IOCL, BPCL, all these things are there. Steel industry, food and the public utilities. Okay. So next topic is velocity distribution in the boundary layers. So how you can understand this in a very easy fashion. So I'm taking the same pipe where the fluid was flowing. So what you see here, if the fluid, let's say the fluid is flowing, and the speed, if you see the speed, so across this boundary layer, so when the fluid is touching the boundary layer, the speed will be less. The speed of velocity of the fluid will be less. But when it comes to the middle, the fluid speed will be more. Velocity of the fluid will be more. And again, when we are going towards the boundary, its velocity will be less, right? So in the similar way, so this is the graph of velocity profile. So based on the radius, so if you take the middle one here, middle means center of the pipe. So if you see the cross sectional area, this is the middle, and this is the complete radius, capital R. So in the middle of this pipe, parallel, okay, so the fluid velocity will be maximum when you are going towards the boundary layers. So this side, the velocity will be keep on coming less. Okay, so this is the complete profile of half of the pipe, 0 to R. 0 to r. So across the boundary layers, the fluid velocity is less, and when it comes to the middle one, so that is known as free stream. Free stream means there is no obstruction, but here what is the obstruction? Some friction is there, right? Some friction is there across the boundary layers. This is free stream velocity, and here the fluid velocity is zero, not actually zero, but we can say it as zero velocity of the fluid, and here we can say the free velocity of the stream. So next, as you know, there are two kind of flow. One is your laminar flow, and another is turbulent flow. So let's move forward and see what are the types of flow, and why they are known as like that, why their names are like that, and what is the concept of Reynolds number. As you know, Reynolds number are that defines that determines the type of flow. That is, if some number is given, then based on that number you can say whether the fluid flow is laminar or fluid flow is turbulent. So what is the exact meaning of this Reynolds number? What does it signify, and how this come into picture? We'll see in the next slide. So this is type of velocity and the fluid profile. So in the previous slide here, I have shown that the fluid profile is like that. Now the same pipe, if the fluid is flowing in the straight way, means one layer is not interacting with the other layer. Both are flowing in their own path with their own velocity. As I already told, velocity of the different layers are different. At boundary layers, at near to the boundary, the velocity is different, and near to the boundary, velocity is different. In the center, velocity is maximum, means different, right? So if the layers of the fluid are not touching with each other, not touching means there are no friction, and they are moving with their own velocity. They are moving with their own path. There is no one path. One layer is not disturbing the other layer, right? So you can say that this is one kind of flow. Here what you can see, one layer of the fluid is disturbing the other layer. Like if you see here, if you take this area, so one layer of the fluid is creating disturbance to the other layer. Similar here also. So this kind of profile, this kind of velocity profile is known as laminar profile. This kind of profile is known as turbulent profile, right? Turbulent. This is your laminar profile. So now we will see some of the points here. So let me erase this and change the color. So what the first point that we noticed here? The first point that we noticed here, that particles are moving in a highly ordered manner. Here, one layer and the other layer is moving with their own velocity, and there is one layer of the fluid is not disturbing the other layer, right? So they are moving in some ordered manner. So the first point is that they are moving in the highly ordered manner. Second point is, you can see that if you see the velocity profile here, if you see the velocity profile, so it is like that. This is the velocity profile. So this is the symbol of parabola, right? So the velocity profile is parabolic. First point is particle moving in highly ordered manner. Second point is velocity profile is parabolic. What is the third point that we noticed here? There is concept of annular layer. Annular layer, ANNULAR, right? So what is annular layer? So if this is the pipe, so if you are taking a small area, so you can consider that this as an annular layer. So the velocity of the annular layer increases from 0 at pipe wall here, increases from 0 at pipe wall, and it goes to the maximum at the center. Velocity of the annular layer increases from 0 at the pipe wall to the maximum at the pipe center, and there are some significant viscous shear stress between the layers. We will see when we move to the Reynolds number, and then we will see that is the main concept behind the Reynolds number. In Reynolds number, basically there are two kind of forces. One is moving in the up direction, another is moving in the down direction. Which one is more prominent? Based on that, Reynolds number is given. Okay, here what we are noticing here the first point that we noticed here is that the particle are moving in disordered manner, right? The particle the layers are moving in disordered manner. There is no one order. So here disordered manner, here the particles are moving in highly ordered manner, here particles are moving in disordered manner. Second point is that particle here moving randomly in 3 dimensions and occupies different relative position in successive cross section. So if you see, if you take one cross section, if you take another cross section, so here you can see that particles are moving in randomly in 3 dimensions. If this is one annular layer, if this is another annular layer, if this is third annular layer, so you are expecting that the particle should move straight like this, but here the particle is not moving, it is moving in 3 dimensions. Okay, and when it is moving in three different positions, so it will keep on interacting with the other velocity layers, right, other fluid layers. So there will be different relative position in successive cross section, right? Here what you can see, in one cross section, the velocity of the fluid is constant. In another cross section, velocity of the fluid is constant. In another cross section, velocity of the fluid is constant. Though these are not same three, but they are constant, right? Here when it is moving in their own profile, velocity is different, but since this is turbulent type, it will keep on interacting with the other layers also, so the relative motions will be different. So this is the third point here, and this is the second point. And third point is that low viscous forces are there. We'll see when it comes to Reynolds number. Okay, so next is that concept of inertial and viscous forces. So as I told, when we study the Reynolds number, basically it's a number that defines that which one is more prominent, whether viscous force is more prominent or inertial force is more prominent, which one is dominating one. So that defines your Reynolds number. So before we go, we have to, so as Reynolds number, r is nothing but your ratio of two forces. Which one is more prominent, you will say? Either this is prominent, then some Reynolds number will be different, and this type of profile is some other profile, like it can be laminar, it can be turbulent, or it can be some intermediate one. If this one is prominent, it can be called as some other. So we'll see, right? So first we'll see the viscous forces. So what is viscous forces? Fractional shear forces that come about due to relative motion of different layer in a flowing fluid. So that we have already seen. Like, so here if you notice, fractional shear forces that come about due to relative motion of different layer in a fluid, resulting in different amount of friction. So if one fluid layer is moving with one velocity constant, if another fluid layer, this is near boundary, if another fluid layer is moving with different constant velocity, if third fluid layer is moving with different constant velocity, right? So there will be more shear friction forces, more friction shear forces, and there will be more viscous friction forces also, right? Here we are seeing that there will be more viscous friction forces, more viscous friction forces, viscous friction forces. And when it comes to your turbulent flow, then the fluid profile is like this. One layer keeps on interacting with the other layer. So here less frictional shear forces are there and less viscous frictional forces are there. So here viscous forces are less. Here viscous forces are more. When it comes to inertial forces, what is inertial forces? Well, that we have studied in 11th and 12th inertia. Like so you can correlate with the same concept is there. So force due to momentum of the fluid. So when the fluid is dense, velocity is higher and momentum will be more. Okay, so forces due to the particle of the fluid resisting in any change in the momentum, okay. So if I take a velocity profile, and here in one direction there will be inertial forces due to the momentum when the fluid is moving with some velocity v, and if you multiply this mass you will get some momentum. Okay, this causes your inertial forces. So here there will be inertial forces due to momentum, next this side will be viscous friction forces. viscous friction forces due to the relative motion of different layer. Okay, so let me explain it again, otherwise it will be confusing. So I'm taking one layer. This is one layer. I'm taking another layer. I'm taking third layer. Three layers. So this is near boundary and this is near center. Okay. Okay. So if one layer, this layer and this layer is moving with different velocity. So due to the velocity and the mass, there will be momentum. So this side there will be inertial forces. Inertial forces due to momentum of the fluid, and this side there will be viscous friction forces due to one layer interacting with the other layer. They are not crossing each other, but when they are moving parallelly with the different constant velocities, so there will be friction. So this side, this is on the viscous friction forces due to relative motion. Now which one is more dominant? Either this is more dominant or this is more dominant. So this defines your Reynolds number. So when it comes to laminar flow, in laminar flow, what will happen? This one layer is going and this another layer is moving. Both are moving with constant velocity, and one layer is not much interacting with the other layer. So here you will see that viscous forces are more, and hence Reynolds number will be less. Here in your turbulent flow, viscous forces are more and Reynolds number is high. So what is Reynolds number? It is the ratio of your inertial forces to the ratio of Reynolds number is nothing but your ratio of inertial forces to the viscous forces. So when viscous forces will be more, Reynolds number will be less. This is known as laminar flow. When viscous forces will be more and inertial forces, so here there is one mistake. So here viscous forces is less, right? There is one mistake. Viscous forces is less. So when viscous forces is less, Reynolds number will be more. This is the formula. Okay. So here you see which forces are more dominant, inertial or the viscous forces. So when Reynolds number is less than 2 into 10 to the power 3, this is laminar flow, this is a transition flow, and when it comes to more than 10 to the power 4, this is known as turbulent flow. Okay. So let's stop here for the time being, and we'll see in the next lecture.